Howdy, folks. It's time again for Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Welcome back. The new season is here. Remember that season 5, they had fully expected that might be their last season when they finished it, and it ended really well. It ended with the whole Coulson death thing and going off with May. But then they came back for season 6 and did the whole, alternate Coulson and all of that. And then they had a fun little story that they told, thinking that maybe season 6 was it. Then they got renewed for a final season 7, which, if I'm not mistaken, they shot right after they concluded shooting season 6. So it kind of rolled right in. So we get that now. We get the final season. Now we know there's time travel involved because at the end, the Chronicons are after them, and they got pulled through time and ended last season in 1930 or 29, somewhere around there, in New York, around the time the Empire State Building was completing construction. So we fully expect it to start then. In fact, the title of this episode is The New Deal, which is kind of a reference to FDR getting out of the Depression with the whole New Deal government programs. Season 7, Episode 1, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I don't really know what to expect. Start of the new season. I love time travel. It is the absolute favorite subgenre of mine of science fiction. Whether it's books, television, movies, I just love time travel. So I'm really excited. And I know from reveals of who's been cast that we're going to see at least one familiar face from Agent Carter. So here's hoping that we might actually see more. I mean, you would think that if Haley Atwell were cast, we would have heard about it, but maybe we'll see others. Here we go. 1931. So this is that opening scene that we saw in the extended trailer. It pretty much included this whole scene, so this is not a surprise to me or anybody who's been watching the trailers. I did avoid this last week. I did avoid the previews because I know Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. always they do a preview scene, a whole scene. It might have been this scene. I don't know. I didn't watch it because I'm trying to avoid that so I can actually try to enjoy the episodes. But this scene got spoiled, right? Because the scene was part of the whole reveal. We know what's coming. Taking his face, man. Taking his face. Ouch. Oh, this poor guy. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, that is so cool. My father really loved watching a lot of movies from like the 40s, 30s, 40s, detective shows and things like that, detective movies and stuff. And that title, the style they used is just perfect. Oh yeah, this was in the final scene of the last season where they activated Coulson.
Fix this.
I don't know how. It's a lot of data flooding his mind.
He'll be okay. It's Coulson in there.
Okay, so
He'll figure this out. Aw.
What the hell? You can't do that.
He couldn't. He'd almost figured it out. Come on, man. What are you doing, Mac? I don't think he would have blown up. I think he would have figured it out. I think he would have calmed down. I'm with Daisy here.
Pleasant, but he needs.
I forgot May. Forgot.
We're flying on autopilot.
But she's they put her in suspended animation. I forgot about that. Why did I forget? I blocked it out of my brain. Poor May. I blocked it out of my brain. The only thing I can. It's the only excuse I have.
Frequencies for anything unusual.
Take the headphones off.
Apologies for the high volume.
There's something wrong with my monitor. Her hair doesn't look purple to me.
Too long.
It couldn't have been too long. Because, I mean, the actor's not that much older, right? So, a couple of years?
It's good to see you.
By the way, you may be noticing that I'm pausing it when I want to talk for a long period of time. It's just something I'm trying because one of the problems with the way I record my reactions, just a little inside baseball here for you, is that I record real time. I don't like record my reaction and not the show. I record them both at the same time into the same stream. I don't really have the option of getting rid of one. Sometimes you'll notice from previous reactions where I'll kind of fade in some image over the top. That's to avoid the automatic detection that would immediately block what I was trying to do. This way, hopefully, I can carry on longer conversations with you without missing anything. Speaking of, I might want to turn on the closed captioning which I normally have on. Subtitles on English. And we're going to try this for a while and see how this works. So bear with me, please.
Suit up.
And by suit up, of course, this time it means get in period clothing. Not in any cool superhero costume or anything.
I feel very targeted.
Mac knows him too well. That's why. So Simmons is about to say it, but is he actually repairing May's damage now that she's in like a stasis state? I guess that's what we're about to find out.
Tissue. All being well, she should
Yep.
be up and around in a week or your time. Let me know.
Okay, so the whole replace the mechanical arms with ones that look like human arms. It's cool, but you know it's a cost saving measure, so they don't have to put her in a makeup every time they shoot. So it's still cool, but come on, we see right through that.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Okay, they focus on that guy a little too much. He's going to be a major character in this episode at least.
We know who we're looking for.
There should be absolutely no problem with Mac being an African American in here because from what I remember of history with speakeasies, they had no problem with anybody.
Gemini. Yeah, sure thing.
Uh-oh. No.
You want to talk to the twins?
Looks like more cops.
Uh-oh. Oh no, it's the cops.
Discovered so quick. Quake. She's here.
They recognized her.
Obviously not.
Maybe screaming.
Not the right time to smile there, dude. Not quite sure what happened. Did Coulson get shot, but his LMD body just didn't affect him, didn't phase him? Or did he miss?
Anything has some perks after all.
Ah.
Crazy, you know that?
Knuckleheads get blood on my
So he used his super agility and speed of an LMD to basically swing out of it. Gotcha.
floor.
Oh no. Oh no.
Koenig?
Coulson, this is Mac.
That's a great way to get him into the show, isn't it? An ancestor of the Koenig. Did we ever brothers? We'll call them that. Did we ever determine if they were like really identicals or clones? I'm not sure if we ever really determined. Uh-oh. What's up with Simmons?
How are your arms feeling?
Is it just fatigue? And, just the stress of it all catching up to her, or is there something wrong?
But better. Thank you. How about you?
Strange, but better. And cheaper. I'll let it go. I'm sorry.
Upstate.
Where does upstate get it?
Usually they get it from Canada.
When he isn't president yet.
Actually, back then it would be easy to assassinate the president even when he was president. Security wasn't as tight as it is now.
It'll be a whole new deal. Am I right?
Coulson.
That
Simmons getting a little ruthless. I like it. Hang on a minute. I don't know if I've been mentioned on this channel, but my education, training, and experience in what I do for a living is I'm a software engineer. So I'm fascinated whenever they show a display, which is supposedly Chronicons have an Oracle path, Oracle-based bin. Their code is in human English-based, but a human language with English variable names. Okay. All Cape Severs. I didn't even spell servers right. All Cape Severs. Oh boy. A lot of scripting in here. All Unix scripting. Interesting. Okay. Moving on. Now, to give the show the benefit of the doubt, I imagine that that Simmons could just be feeding this guy just tons of script code and other stuff, just data, but it all happens to look like Unix shell scripts, but still. Who's that?
He's a big fan.
Little help, son?
Yes, sir.
I don't think FDR would understand the term fan. That didn't really come into
Will be our little secret then.
common use for a while. After this. Admirer would have been a better term for her to use. Yes, who is this woman? Oh, is she a Chronicom now?
Do you need a drink?
Target FDR, Freddy. Freddy is going to be the one to kills FDR?
Quiet. Your father and I work together.
Okay, so they don't want to kill FDR, they want to kill this guy. Why?
Powerful.
I'm intrigued. All sorts of things are running through my head. Hydra. I'm thinking a Hydra connection of some sort. I'm thinking Fred. Do we know a Fred in the MCU histories? All sorts of things. I don't know. I'm intrigued.
Well, sorry, this is just another fight for me.
Sorry that you've been looking forward to fighting me, but
Dealing
you're
with
just
chronic ops.
somebody.
We're saving your life.
Robot Coulson. She conveniently can't quake right now for some reason. She doesn't need a lot of time to get it going. She can do it in like a millisecond. We've seen that. She can even do it without moving her hands. We've seen that. They just want her to fight, I guess.
Wilfred Malik. Why?
All right. I should know that name. I don't know that name. Malik? Is this a Hydra reference? I don't remember. I have really bad memory. Okay, I cheated. I quickly searched Marvel Malik and saw the summary that he was a Hydra leader. So, yeah, Hydra. I remember the character now.
Wilfred Map Hydra in America.
And she just told me.
Malik, then Hydra stamped out before save Hydra.
Oh, boy.
Great.
So the premise is in order to save Marvel, save S.H.I.E.L.D. See Marvel on my screen. They have to save Hydra because in order for S.H.I.E.L.D. to be formed, this Malik guy has to be involved. I didn't quite hear exactly why, but apparently it's required. Very interesting. Oh no, May's gone.
Enoch.
It is I, Enoch.
Sandian Chronicom job, Enoch. One job.
Oh no. Has she undergone some kind of a mental break? She forgotten who she is? She lost some memories? Because why would May do this? I think the May we knew who had to go in there, I don't think would be acting this way.
Red Skull.
Nope, don't want to see. I heard Hydra Red Skull. We're done. But that's what we kind of figured out. The Red Skull part is new, but that they would talk about it. But the Hydra part we knew. So they're back for the final season. They are time traveling. It was an explain from Simmons, an explanation, and explain. Right? You can say it both ways. From Simmons that there are these certain times that they can jump to. They can't just go to any time, and that. Somehow Fitz is, I guess the actor was unavailable for this season or something, for most of it. I'm guessing, because we're not going to see much of him, at least that's what she says. He's kind of figuring out where to send them or where they have to go or something like that. He's behind the scenes and she can't communicate with him and he can't communicate with her directly. There's apparently some sort of an indirect communication, obviously, because they have to know where to go. But they're going to be, I guess, this season jumping through time. In the trailer, we did establish that at one point they were in looked like the 70s. That's when the ICBM was launching out of the lighthouse. And I did a little bit of research and determined that particular model of ICBM was only available or was only deployed in the field for a certain number of years. So it kind of pinned it down. And they're, I imagine, going to go into the 50s. And I think that's where we meet the one cast member from Agent Carter. Either late 40s or 50s. Probably the very beginnings of S.H.I.E.L.D. So those are the only three, I think, times that I'm aware of. Maybe there was another one in like the 80s or the 90s that I didn't remember. Actually, maybe they just jump decades. Maybe they do a 40s, a 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Maybe they just do all the best hits. Maybe. Although it doesn't look like next episode's going to jump to a different time. It's going to stay here. Almost like it's a continuation of this particular story. But it might. Might somewhere during that episode jump to another time. Okay. So I said I would drop it, and I did, but Yo-Yo obviously getting the arms is obviously it's because they don't want to bother putting the makeup on, the dressing up her arms every time. But it fit with the story too. It kind of made sense, so it's cool. The Coulson LMD is really, really cool. I love, like I said, he would figure it out. He would have figured it out. They didn't have to shut him down. Although Mac explained the reason he shut him down was so that they could talk about, first of all, why they were doing it, what was going on. Simmons could brief them before they dealt with the LMD, and also because it has to be a director-level decision. Basically Mac has to agree to it, and he never had a chance to agree to it because Daisy just pushed the button. The easy button. And I love how Coulson said, isn't it great that there's a button? Isn't that kind of weird? That's kind of cool. His character is cool. And taking advantage of his strength and his reflexes and everything, knowing that he's an LMD, as opposed to the other Coulson LMD that we encountered before, who didn't know until later that he was an LMD, initially didn't know he was an LMD, and also the maid didn't know she was an LMD. This one is well aware of everything and knows that he's not really Coulson. So it's kind of a cool way for Clark Gregg to be in the final season and everything. I'm digging it. Not much else. I was pleased whenever you send, whenever I love time travel, but one of the things that annoys me about time travel is, and this is only in the last 10 years or so, because of kind of the woke culture and everything. Whenever you send people from today back to periods where we had sexism, racism, and that sort of stuff in larger, more systemic than it is now, you always get sidetracked, and they always tend to dwell on those aspects. And I was pleasantly surprised they didn't dwell on it here. They touched it perfectly. There was just casual references and kind of like, Mac's like, no waves. I was cool with that. I mean, it was I think well done. It was a good balance. I've seen other shows, most recent Doctor Who season, or the last season or whatever, did some that were a little way over the top that weren't very realistic. But I kind of cringed at some of that. But this was very well done, so I was very pleasantly surprised about that. FDR, cool. The actor they got to do FDR, I thought he did a really good job. I've happened to have heard a lot of the FDR speech, not a lot, but I've happened to have heard some FDR speeches, both audio recordings as well as old film, and I think he did a pretty good job. And he looks a little bit like him, so that's pretty cool. The Chronicoms, one of them got melted away. The others are still out there, and now we have to save Hydra. So I think it's a really cool start. Looking forward to the next episode. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode, and maybe let me know what you thought of the new format of occasionally when I want to talk for a long time during the show, I'll pause it. I noticed that I might be a little too eager to pause because I pause to talk about what I think's a particular moment meant, and then right when I unpause, they explain exactly what I thought. So, or correct me in some cases. But let me know what you think about that. Let me know what you think about this episode. Let me know what you think about the season and where we're going next. So, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.